Okay, yeah, I get it. My predictions suck. Instead of having an entire episode focused on Lena and us not getting an idea of what happened at the end of the last episode, instead we get an entire episode of what happened and pretty much nothing of Lena. My gosh, this episode, man, there's so much to talk about, and I really hate that there's several parts in here that are insinuating something I don't want to be insinuated, but it might just be me reading too much into it, but man, just so many fantastic visual points, music. I was complaining last episode about Sawano Hiroyuki's music, and it literally opens up this episode with some phenomenal music with him and vocal tracks in there as well. I know people are upset about my comments about that. It's not that I think that everything Sawano has to have vocals in it. It's just his best music has vocals in it. That's really, I have like tons of his soundtracks back here. I know that he has stuff that doesn't have vocals. Anyways, let's jump into this. This is episode 17. Unfortunately, 18 is going to be delayed so that people know that. I'm going to do a news bit on it here soon, but just for those that just watch these videos, apparently 18 is delayed. So next week we will not have an impressions video unless I do a video complaining that there's no episode. But anyways, let's jump into this. So, open up this episode, we see the 85 districts being pretty much destroyed. We do have Lena out on the battlefield commanding, and it looks like they're trying to fight back. I really liked it. Again, this scene was fantastic because it had no sound effects. It was just purely music. And again, Sawano Hiroyuki's music, which is phenomenal. And at the same time, you had these cool perspectives, like these shots of like billboards that say 86 go away and stuff as they're fleeing, the Alba are fleeing and the 86 are going in to fight for them. It was, an obvious aspect that was going to be there. I just didn't think it was going to be that literal. Like they literally have billboards up saying, or not really billboards, but just writings on billboards saying to go away. But yeah, despite that, they're going in. I said, Lena is down on the battlefield. She's fighting back, and really fantastic visuals here. Really great opening. Unfortunately, like I said, nothing really after this besides the aftermath and, like I said, some insinuations. So to finish my perspective on the whole thing with Lena in this episode, like I said, very short. The only other scene we had of Lena was a segment that I'll talk about again later, but a particular part of it is this kind of goodbye between Shin and Lena. Now, the thing I don't like about this, and like I said, the whole aspect of us seeing this brief scene at the very end of the episode after the cast scrolls, is showing us the 85 pretty much demolished. Corpses everywhere, and no sign of life. And what I'm getting at fearfully, and I don't think it's going to be this anticlimactic, like we don't see it, but there was two things to note here. One was that when Shin actually pointed out on this map the areas where the Legion are occupying, he goes to tap on the dead center of the Republic of San Magnolia, thus implying it is occupied. The Legion are inside the 85. Obviously, we knew that they were, just coming into the 85, but this shows that they're literally in San Magnolia. San Magnolia has been occupied. And plus, this brief scene where he has this conversation with all the 86 that have died before, but then this brief moment of him saying goodbye once again to Lena, and what happens? Lena walks through a field of red spider lilies. And yes, this has been a symbol of this show for quite a while, but the fact that it shows a close-up of her feet walking through the spider lilies implies that she is gone. And like I said, and technically following this, he does have this little brief, he's not crying, but the window has dew on it that goes down. It's implying that Lena's dead. I don't know how he would know this unless he's just hearing her voice from a distance or that she has been harvested. But it's implying that this point, again, this isn't implying, this is a speculation that Lena at this point is gone. I don't think it's going to be the case. I'm just saying it's implying it because I think that's very anticlimactic. We've seen Lena for so long, and to have her die off screen doesn't make any sense. Unless the next episode they have the actual battle, which would technically be the reason probably why the next episode is delayed, because they're going to probably animate this entire battle happening in the 85 districts, and it's probably taking quite a bit of effort, which kudos to them. But my speculation right now is that there's a good chance that the next episode is going to be the battle in the 85, and we're going to lose Lena. Again, I don't know that the story would go that direction, but it wouldn't surprise me at the same time. My thought has always been that Lena was the main character, but this season has really pushed into my head that Lena has kind of gone to the wayside, and this could be her passing. the fall of San Magnolia might be including Lena falling. And the fact that Shin was never there for her is upsetting. The only thing that goes against this theory is because so much of emphasis in the end of the last season, or at least the beginning parts of this story, is around this concept that Lena did not want Shin to die, and she was going to do everything in her power to protect him. And to never have them ever come together once, while bittersweet, kind of sucks. Like, the way the story is so developed, it begs this point in which the two of them would actually meet face to face. So me personally, while I'm okay with a storyteller telling the story they want to tell, it seems very anticlimactic not to have them ever meet. Of course, the other thing that you can see in the Red Lilies is the concept of goodbyes. That they're saying goodbye to each other because he feels like he's going off to his death. But like I said, so much emphasis put on her feet going through the flowers implies this idea of, similar to, I believe it's some Buddhist belief, is that the Red Lilies are a guiding to rebirth, that it implies that she's gone. Like, this is her goodbye to him. The symbolisms could be far too obvious and may just be a fake out, so we'll have to wait and see. But I do think that last shot was pretty crazy. I think seeing all of that destruction just really, it hurts. Despite the 85 not being the most pleasant of people, and the Alba not being, obviously treating the 86 fairly, it still sucks, I think, more for us in the perspective of both the innocent and for Lena herself. But yeah, the rest of the show, the rest of this episode, obviously Kitty uses this long-range attack to attack the front lines. Shin and everybody else are safe. They do kind of talk about the reports of this long-range rifle that Kitty is obviously using, or that Kitty is, and that is what they call the Morpho. And Morpho has like a 400-kilometer range, an 800-millimeter cannon. They said they did strike immediately after they were struck, and so it must be under repair. They're estimating it will take 8 weeks to repair, so they're going to have to send a foot group out to actually destroy it. And they know it's a suicide mission, so what is their decision? Send the 86, obviously, the people that won't have anybody crying for their loss, because obviously this is a death mission. It was interesting though, because I really did like this whole segment of this story, because it was really hitting heavy on this idea that despite all these great things about the Giad, they're still the same as San Magnolia. They still see this is a group that's we're willing to sacrifice because nobody will miss them. And it's the same concept that the San Magnolia was treating them. And so this idea of, technically, Greth really does put it into words, this idea of you're treating them just the same way that San Magnolia was. Are you disenchanted by this, that you're disillusioned by the fact that we're treating you the same way? I thought it was very... it seemed like a little bit on the nose for them to call the mission Spearhead, so they're going right down the same rabbit hole. But despite this, you have this whole inner conflict with Shin. The moment that they say, or Greth asks why them, it cuts over this idea of Shin hearing the voices of the past 86, all saying, it's because you're an 86, obviously. Man, you didn't think these people were going to be any different, did you? Really hitting again on this concept of all of them appreciating that they gave their lives down, and that Shin obviously was the Reaper for them to make sure that their life wasn't wasted. All this great kind of revisiting for Shin himself. But it seems like, again, similar to previous cases, it's that aspect of, you want us to be monsters, we'll be the monsters. Shin and all of them are like, hey, that's who we are. Who cares? Let's go. It's time to go. It's been so ingrained in their minds that this is how they live, that they almost don't want to have it any other way. So it's kind of funny to have this conflict kind of surrounding them around, why would you send them? Why would you send them? You're no different than San Magnolia. And then they're literally going, that's just us. We don't care. We're going later. But even from Shin's perspective, he really pushes against Greth and the idea of, look, stop pitying us. We're not going to be like... And I think this was a more telling aspect of Shin basically telling her, look, we don't need your pity, because she really wants him to stop going to war. Like, after this, just quit the military. And he's like, look, I'm not going to be like San Magnolia and ignore that the war exists. That's exactly what he doesn't want to become, is the people who forced him to fight in the begin with. If he does decide to retire after this particular mission, or even if they weren't to fight before, they'd be just like the San Magnolia. They'd be sitting inside their walls, ignoring war exists, and waiting for the end to come, which is not what they want to do. They want to fight. There was one other thing in this episode that I kind of at. I really didn't at. And that was apparently that idiot guy that yelled at Shin when he put Eugene down. Apparently, I'm assuming that he went and told Eugene's sister that Shin finished him off, or at least he was the cause of his death. Because as we find out, the sister seems to have, she's blaming Shin. And apparently she sent him a letter where we find out that apparently the previous fight where Shin went crazy and Frederico was trying to call out to him, apparently the reason why he grinned the moment his cockpit closed was because he read a letter from the sister saying, "It's your fault, give me my brother back." And this is what triggered him to basically become just like Kitty. He went crazy and went out in that battle like, look, they're blaming me anyways, I might as well kill everybody. I did get a kick out of the fact that they're trying to plan out this idea of going in and destroying this thing, and all I can think of is, this is similar to like every other story of a rail system, canon system. You just destroy the rail system. Why are we going through the process of chasing him down and just destroy the rail system? You don't have to destroy him quite yet, but that's fine. That's fine. It's more interesting to actually go there. But yeah, that's my thoughts on episode 17. Looking forward to 18 in, 2 weeks. This sucks. The wait's gonna suck, but at least we didn't have the wait this time because, like I said, that last scene from last episode bugged the hell out of me. But now I'm worried about Lena. So I went from worrying about Shin and them, and now I'm worried about Lena because of this symbolisms and stuff. But absolutely beautiful episode. So many fantastic visual points, like the whole scene with them being ordered to go out and fight, and it has that kind of perspective of the general here and the 86 over here. Their fragments of their juggernauts falling to the ground, all that kind of stuff was really cool. I just realized today they still have yet to talk about Anju's back tattoo thing that they did. They've still not explained that. I don't know if they ever are going to at this point. But anyways, that's my thoughts on the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this impression. If you did, leave a like down below. Comment. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Am I way off base? Don't spoil things, please, light novel people. Please. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video if you can. Support us on Patreon if you can. Definitely appreciate everybody that does. And y'all take care.